purpose is to launch 15 or more companies around pediatric mental health and anti-pandemic technologies. So what you'll see is some of the topics of the challenge are inventions that you can choose, but you can also bring in your own company that could focus on mental health or anti-pandemic technologies. So the goal is to advance technologies, diagnostics, therapeutics, digital health tools, pretty much anything that comes into the category of pediatric mental health or anti-pandemic technologies. And the outcomes of the challenge are to identify and solve the issues related to children's mental health, and through the companies launched or the companies that are sourced. Also to reduce anxiety and depression in children, which has skyrocketed during the course of the pandemic, and galvanize the children's mental health community to foster collaboration across disciplines. So what we will do is we'll often add mentors, advisors to teams to help them further advance technologies. We are also using our EDA funded grant. It's focused on a global health innovation challenge. The EDA grant is for 3 years. So we plan on running this challenge each year for 3 years. And finally, what we're doing is creating more jobs in the DC metro area. So in a nutshell, that's what this challenge is about. The opportunity for you is to participate in our Accelerator training. We have 20 classes that are already up for you to take. You can take them at any time. They're on demand. We will also have several in-person webinars such as this one. The topics of the Accelerator training are things like financial modeling, team building, due diligence, what's the proper structure of your company, like a C Corp versus an LLC, how to structure term sheets, for example, what's a safe versus convertible notes and things of that nature. Second, and I think very, very important, is just to expand your network. So all the people that are currently on this call, you are seeing each other, meeting each other. Maybe the chat box is going right now and you're introducing each other and dropping your emails in there to get to know others. We will also, as I mentioned, we usually put anywhere from 2 to 3 mentors on teams, extremely important. And, of course, you all will have to determine whether or not the mentor is the right fit for you. But what we do is we are somewhat of matchmakers. In fact, the nickname for the Center for Advancing Innovation, or one of our nicknames, is the Tinder for Startups by Nature magazine. I never thought that I was going to be a matchmaker, but there you go. And then, of course, there will be significant media coverage. We'll be doing a press release here shortly to announce the EDA grant, and we'll have some other media attention. We've been fortunate to have 2 exclusives in Nature. We've had 9 White House mentions, prestigious mentions. We've actually gotten the highest award from Health and Human Services, which is the largest biomedical organization. And we've gotten other prestigious awards from the Government Accountability Office, for example, Best in Business Plan and Best in Entrepreneurship. You'll also have the opportunity to have prizes and funding. The prize money is $2,000. You also have the opportunity to pitch during the course of the challenge in the Accelerator programs to raise non-dilutive funding. And at the end of the program, we'll host an investor forum. It'll be virtual, and you'll have the opportunity to pitch there as well. And then finally, the third way of raising money, which I think is most important, is the fact that we have launched another company called Ignite Social Impact. Ignite Social Impact is the first crowd equity platform focused on impact-oriented companies, where companies can raise up to $5 million. And so what's really important there, if you just decide that Ignite Social Impact, you might be ready for it right now. I know certainly one company that's participating on the call right now is perfect for Ignite and is going through the process of getting their audits on their financials. So what's really important there is to get either a review of your financials or an audit of your financials if you are an existing company. The review of your financials is if you want to raise less than $1.07 million. If you want to raise more than $1.07 million to $5 million, you need a financial audit. The financial and the review and the audit are 2 years. If you want to raise less than 107,000, there is no requirement for a review or an audit, unless you've already been on a crowd equity platform previously. And then finally, your opportunity is to launch a company. So the dates here, sometimes the dates will shift a little bit. So teams are currently entering the challenge. We are actively recruiting. So if you know of other companies that exist that could be a fit for the challenge, please, tell them about the challenge. InnovateChildren'sHealth.org is the website. Give them the URL for it, and we'll follow up with an email after this call to give you some materials to share if you would like to share it. You can actually start on, is it rolling entry process? So you can start on your first phase 1 elevator speech right now. But you may already have that done. It's a 2-minute elevator speech with a 350-word executive summary, and you post it on YouTube. You have till March 25th, 2022 to submit that. In the interim, between now and then, we'll be doing some webinars like this one, but more educational webinars. So look out for those. And we'll also be sharing with you the list of the videos you can watch if you want to learn more about financial modeling, for example, or how to structure a company, or team building, for example. Between March 26th and March 31st, we have a public voting. Public means that people go onto YouTube and they will do a thumbs up and make some comments. What we'd like to see with the public voting is relevant, constructive criticism, or mentions, for example, of what they liked about the video. And then April 1st, we will announce the semi-finalists. Then the rubber really hits the road in phase 2. So you may get through phase 1 and you can still start on phase 2. Here, you're going to create a 10-page business plan accompanied by a 5-minute virtual pitch. Essentially, what you'll do is we'll record your pitches for the judges, and then the judges will review the pitches and evaluate the business plan and the pitch together. The pitch is a normal pitch deck that you would pitch to investors, for example. June 10th is when that's due. And then June 13th to the 27th, you'll pitch to the judges. And July 1st, we'll basically wave the checkered flag, if you will, and announce the winners. And then in the startup phase, this is when you actually get the opportunity to pitch to in the investor forum. And then you'll have the opportunity to come onto the Ignite platform. So there are lots of ways to participate. You can be a team member. We see that most team members are 10 to 20 hours per week. You may actually already have all those deliverables that I just mentioned done. And if you do, you could revise them, using either working with us directly to revise them. Me and my team will work with you on your deliverables if you would like that. But also you could just review these videos and learn more from the webinars and then revise them. You could be an ambassador, organize regional ecosystem roadshows. An ambassador, by the way, we are looking for to present in different places and to get the word out. And presenting could be that we show up in person in some cases, or it could be via a webinar for a particular audience. You could provide sponsor events, for example, legal costs. You could be a cheerleader, just reach out to recruit people. I mentioned that we'll be following up with some materials that you can share. You can mentor or coach teams virtually or in person. You could be an advisor. An advisor provides like 1 hour during the course of the challenge, 1 hour total usually. And that's if you have a particular topic that you want to go over as to provide educational material for the teams. And then, or you could be a judge. And the judge will be at the end of phase 2 in June of 2022. So how does the challenge work? So the people who are on the phone, you've already applied, we've already selected the inventions, you form your team. We like a team of at least 2 people. You submit the application, you enter the challenge. So everybody on the phone has already done that. Then you, as I mentioned, it's a rolling entry process. You can start the elevator speech phase immediately, and we will help augment your team. You come in, you take the tailored training, submit the deliverables, the 2-minute elevator pitch, and then the judges will select semifinalists. So between the elevator speech phase and the business plan phase, there'll be a down selection. In the business plan phase, you'll have additional training, mentorship. This is when we put the mentors on or introduce you to potential mentors. You incorporate your startup if you don't have it incorporated already. You submit the deliverables, and then we select the winners. And then the startup phase, you get to have the working sessions, access to capital through our investor forums, and the final ceremony. And these are virtual. The whole challenge is actually performed virtually, except for if there's a roadshow that we will do in person. One of the challenges we ran was called the space race. This is just an example. These were the NASA inventions we had selected. And another way of looking at this, the teams, there could be anywhere from 4 to 10 teams on each invention. So the teams come in to select an invention. This is just illustrative in nature. So you could have 3 teams on invention number 2, 10 teams on invention number 3, 12 teams on invention number 4, etc. And then startups are formed out of that. Sometimes there's more than one startup formed on an invention. And then, there could be potentially exits. Now, as I mentioned before, you may already have your own startup that matches the topics. So this doesn't apply to the companies that already exist. The accelerator training, we imagine that there'll be about 40 webinars on the business of STEM, as I mentioned before. There'll be 12 homework assignments, if you will, hands-on company building exercises like writing grants and things of that nature. I know some of the people on this call are experts at grants already. So some of these assignments will not be necessary for several companies that already exist. You'll get a chance to collaborate across the ecosystem, and you'll also get some mentorship. We have about 600 mentors in our group of mentors that we typically will put on companies of different kinds of expertise. This is the JotForm where you submit the deliverables. So you can submit, for example, your phase 1 deliverable here. This is your 350-word executive summary, or you could choose a file, and then you put in a link to your YouTube. So it's you'll find this link on the website as well. The website is innovatechildrenshealth.org. Innovatechildrenshealth.org. Like I said, this link is also there, but it's jotform.com/CAI startups/deliver4kids. And again, we'll be following up with information that's in this deck after this call. Some examples of strong pitches are on this slide. I'm not going to play any of them for you, but you'll be getting this, and you can actually see some really good ones. These are all very good. I could point out Green Hill Anti-Ballistics is excellent. Stratodynamics is also excellent. Stratodynamics has the highest flying drone that exists. They came out of the space race. So this is not our first challenge. We are in our 11th challenge now, I think it is. We started in 2012 with the Breast Cancer Startup Challenge in partnership with the National Cancer Institute. They were so excited about it that we then launched a bigger challenge that was cross disease area called the Neuro Startup Challenge, and that was cross NIH as well, across the institutes of NIH. The first challenge, we launched 11 startups. The second challenge, we launched 22 startups. The first challenge was done in partnership with the Avon Foundation for Women. The second challenge, the Neuro Startup Challenge, was done in partnership with the Heritage Foundation. Sorry about that. The third challenge, this was again with the National Cancer Institute and the Nano Center within the NCI. And that was a Nano Startup Challenge in Cancer, where we launched 10 startups. And the Space Race Challenge came next in partnership with NASA. The Freedom of Cancer Startup Challenge, I believe we got our inventions from 35 institutions across the United States. for 100 startups. Then we have some place-based challenges we did. The Virginia Beach Bio Innovation Challenge, where we launched 20 companies. And then that was in partnership with the Virginia Beach government. And the Freedom from Cancer Startup Challenge was in partnership with MedImmune and also the Laura and John Arnold Foundation. The Brain Race was last year, finished last year. That was in partnership with the Silicon Valley Community Foundation through Resonance Philanthropies and also the Brain Charity out of the UK. It's the largest brain charity that exists. And then we also launched the Scale Challenge in partnership, focused on supply chain innovation in partnership with the Walton family. And last year we launched the NIH Children's Health Challenge in partnership again with the Silicon Valley Community Foundation and through Resonance Philanthropies. So on the right-hand side are some of the examples of some of the companies we've launched. Cambridge Cancer Genomics has exited already. Another key one that's not on the slide is called Freenome. Queen of Raw was part of our Scale Challenge. She's gotten significant press. It would be good to check some of these out. The Stratodynamics was one that I mentioned earlier. Again, the highest flying drone that exists, and they do Earth observation. We have, as I mentioned, we've been fortunate to receive a bunch of awards. We've been in Forbes several times, the Chicago Tribune. We were on the front page of NASA, which was really exciting, actually. Apparently gets the most hits in the United States. Nature, we had 2 articles in Nature, the Washington Post, Wired, a couple of articles in Wired. We also got the highest award, as I mentioned, that Health and Human Services gives out, and the Government Accountability Office Awards that I mentioned before. So we were the best in business plan and entrepreneurship. That's Government Accountability Office. These are some of our White House awards. When Obama left office, he did 2 impact studies, and one was the impact study on entrepreneurship. We were number 6 out of 10 in the impact-oriented organizations. And the other study that he did was, or the Obama White House did, was the top 100 things that happened in impact during the course of his presidency. And we were number 36 out of that. And I mentioned some of these other awards already. So have a lot of nicknames. We've been called the Powerful Innovation Toolkit by the White House, Super Accelerator from one of the hospitals, Shark Tank on Steroids by the Bio Organization. You can see the video on the front page of the Center for Advancing Innovation's website. They did a nice press conference for us and a video at Bio in front of like 7,000 people. It was really nice. I mentioned Tinder for Startups from Nature magazine and Kickstarter for IP from Wired. So I'm going to just pause there. Cody didn't get a chance to introduce himself, but I'll let him do that right now.
Okay, great. Hi, everyone. Cody Locke. I'm Chief Innovation Officer here at the Center for Advancing Innovation. I'm your point person on many of these items that Rosemary mentioned. Questions about deliverables, questions about key dates, making connections with each other outside of the challenge as well. If you've got a question, shoot it by me. If I don't know the answer, I'll get the answer for you. You've got my information, the emails that I've sent you already. I'm accessible to you, not to everyone, but to you anytime. Cody at caistartups.org, 256-506-3733. It's in my signature line in the emails. Connect with me on LinkedIn if you haven't already. I bet you have. If you use Twitter, it's a good source of information. We don't want to see your breakfast, unless you really want to share it, but it's a good place to get information. And that's the reason we use it. We're twitter.com/CAI startups. Check us out. And that'll help you to stay informed on what we're doing in the challenge, external to the emails that I'll send, and what we're doing in some other spaces as well.